Hi, I'm Ray Talabas II. Doing a special cigar review on a special cigar. Um, the maker of the cigar, Jose Orlando Padron, passed away last year. And it's one of his cigars. It's a Padron. It This is going to be another special edition cigar review because Jose Orlando Padron was born in Cuba. Um, he's a Cuban immigrant. He immigrated to Florida, I believe Miami, probably, I guess around the 60s, 60s or 70s. He left Cuba because Fidel Castro came in and he nationalized the the government and the businesses of Cuba, and there was a lot of political and social instability in Cuba at that time in the 60s and 70s. So many Cubans made their way to the United States, including Jose Orlando Padron, where he eventually moved to Florida, I believe Miami, had a family, and started the Padron cigar business in 1964. Hence, Padron 1964s. But because of this tie of Mr. Jose Orlando Padron, the maker of the cigar for this review, to Cuba, I'm going to do a little bit of a kind of a focus on the island of Cuba, or Republic of Cuba, and Cuban tobacco, and a little bit of overview of Cuban cigars. So that's what we're doing today. The cigar, the Padron, the special Padron that we'll be doing today. A very, very special Padron is the Padron um, 1926. Um, Padron 1926, as all Padrones are, I think they're all, most of them anyway. It's a box press. It's a box press robusto. I want to say this cigar is 5 inches by 50 ring gauge. Um, this particular stick I got yesterday at my local B&M in Towson, Davidas. I think I paid like $16 for this beautiful stick. I was surprised by the price. $16 or $19. I mean, usually Padron 1926s go for like $20 and above. So I was very happy to see this stick at that price. So I want to say this called the wrapper on this cigar. The color is natural. It's a natural color. Um, very very well packed. Kind of firm, but has give, so it should be a great draw. Yeah, so that's the cigar review. The cigar for the cigar review is the world class Padron 1926 Robusto. I want to say this is a Maduro. This is a Maduro cigar. I said natural color, but I believe this is a Maduro. Um, a lot of people who smoke Padrones prefer one or the other, the natural or the Maduro. Maduros tend to be sweeter, have more chocolate flavor, while the I think the naturals tend to have a little bit more leather. The 1926 and the Padron 1926 cigar stands for Jose Orlando Padron's year of birth. So it's a 1926 anniversary Padron cigar. As I said earlier, the Padron 1964 cigar. 1964 stands for the year that Padron Cigars was established. And that's another anniversary cigar. You might have heard of Family Reserve. They have Padron has a very, I mean, 1964, then the next step up is 1926. Then the next step up is Family Reserve. And then they have the 50th anniversary Padron. Then you have the Core Line Padron. I reviewed that maybe like 15 cigar reviews earlier. That's my favorite kind of brand is the Padron Core Line. The 64s and 26s come at a high price point, so I kind of like don't really go in that little area very much. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to be doing, because Jose Orlando Padron had such, strong ties to Cuba. He was born there, immigrated from there. Part of this review will be a focus on Cuba and Cuban tobacco. So we'll be doing that in the next portion. Probably in 2 parts again. The beverages for this review are agua in the Spanish language. This is kind of like a Spanish edition in a way. Agua. Agua fina, or water in American. Gotta have the coffee with the Padron. I mean, such complementary flavors. Some good old cafe. Another caramelly coffee like in alcohol form. Good old Newcastle. Newcastle Brown Ale from England. One of my favorites. Should go well with the Padron. They share very similar flavors. And finally, the last alcohol is the good old Johnny Walker Black Label. Another alcoholic beverage that should go very well with the Padron, having similar flavors. Alright, so that's it. That's what we're going to be doing for this review. Special edition Padron 1926 Robusto Cigar Maduro. And then we'll be doing a little bit of a focus on the special edition of Cuba and Cuban tobacco. I want to tell you the components of this cigar. The Padron 1926 Robusto. The components, it's a Nicaraguan Puro. Wrapper is Nicaraguan Maduro, and binder and filler are all Nicaraguan, so Nicaraguan Puro. Alright. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Please take care. Gonna hit a break. You guys take it easy. I'll catch you on the next take. Vaya escondidas, amigos. Ciao. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Welcome back. How are y'all doing out there? This is the second portion of the cigar review. Special cigar review, special occasion cigar, special cigar for the Padron 1926 Robusto Maduro. Special occasion cigar, yes, special edition because we'll be doing a focus on Cuba and Cuban tobacco. We'll start that. We'll do it in 2 parts. The first part will be in this portion of the cigar review, and then the last part will be in the following portion of the cigar review. So let's go ahead and cut this beautiful special occasion Padron 1926 anniversary Maduro Robusto. Yeah, cut this beautiful cigar. I love this cigar. Not something that I visit very often. Very spicy. Spicy off the clipped head of the Padron. If I'm going to smoke a Padron, usually, if I'm at a B&M or I buy over the internet, it's usually the Padron core line, like maybe Padron 7000 or Padron 5000 or whatever. But the special occasion, like the higher levels here, 1964s and 1926s, I don't really visit them that often because of the higher price point. But I think I paid like maybe $16 for this beautiful stick. So I mean, when I saw this stick at the B&M, I knew I wanted to review it. And at the price of $16 for a Padron 1926, I was like, that's a buy. So there it is. All right, let's go ahead and toast this beautiful Padron Robusto 1926. Having a little bit of lighter problem. There we go. All right, that's done. Feels like it has a really good draw. All right, enough of this playing around. I'm gonna get my more reliable Zycar. Like my Zycar is like my only reliable lighter right now. I mean, like my Padron like Borg desktop lighter. It works sometimes, and then my Calibri. I mean, I'm lucky to get like 2 lights out of that thing. So good old Zycar. Very good draw. Very sweet. Very sweet, kind of like nutty tobacco right now. The tobacco used in the Padron 1926 um, generally is 5 to 10 years old. That's why it's so expensive. The tobacco is like 5 to 10 years old, and the more you age tobacco, the more expensive it is, and generally the better quality the tobacco is. Tobacco tends to like hold on. Tobacco tends to like get better with age and more expensive at the same time. Tobacco mellows out. The flavors become more cohesive. Probably becomes more nuttier. Just more depth to tobacco flavor when you age tobacco, especially aged tobacco like 5 to 10 years old. Great tobacco. And that's why this cigar is so expensive, is because they use very aged tobacco, 5 to 10 years old. And the longer you age tobacco, the more expensive it is because you have to sit on it. You have to sit on the tobacco, and 5 to 10 years is a long time. While the other tobacco you use and maybe other cigars, you can put into new cigars and get your money back faster. So for cigar companies anyway. Spicy tobacco and lemon through the retrohale. If you don't remember what we're doing here, we're doing the very special occasion cigar, the Padron 1926 anniversary cigar. I think these are considered anniversary. It's an anniversary. It's a birthday of the birth year of Jose Orlando Padron. So, well, that is good. Very rich, nutty tobacco right now. Just downright delicious. Just downright delicious. Good spice. Getting a raisin. Um, Kind of more of an acidic tobacco right now than the previous draw that had nutty tobacco. So it's changing flavors pretty much. Some spice, power, rich tobacco. Yeah, very good. Has some Newcastle. The Newcastle really complements the Padron 1926. This has caramel notes, coffee, and it's very bright, and it complements the richness and tobacco and the nuttiness of the Padron 1926. Very complementary flavors. Wow, power. Um, Spicy, really rich tobacco, power. Um, just really, the draw is full. The body is full. The flavor is definitely full. And the strength is, I want to say medium full. This is not a very big ring gauge cigar. I mean, even though it's a 50, it's box press. So, in general, I mean, to me, box pressed ring gauges seem a little bit smaller than regular round bodied Parejo ring gauges. Um, I guess because they fit in your mouth a lot easier since they're box pressed. Pencil lead, power, tobacco. Alright, so this is the special occasion cigar review for the Padron 1926 and also a focus on Cuba and Cuban tobacco. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of history on Cuba, give you a little bit of overview on Cuba and the history of Cuba, and then the second part we'll talk about more about Cuban tobacco. So here we go, the history of Cuba. Hold on a second, I gotta smoke this wonderful cigar. Oh, spicy. Pencil lead power. Racing came back. Um, just wonderful. Oh, okay. So Cuba. Cuba, officially the Republic of Cuba, is a country comprising the island of Cuba as well as Isla de la Juventud and several minor archipelagos. Cuba is located in the northern Caribbean, where the Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico, and Atlantic Ocean meet. It is east of the Yucatan Peninsula, or Mexico, south of both the U.S. state of Florida and the Bahamas, west of Haiti, and north of both Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. Havana is the largest city and capital. I mean, like, a lot of, most Cuban cigars, they'll say Habana on them, and Cuban cigars are referred to Habanos in Cuba. Cuban cigars are referred to as Habanos, and most probably because, like, their capital city and largest city is Havana, and that's where they're made, so, or rolled anyway. Other major cities include Santiago de Cuba and Camagüey. The area of the Republic of Cuba is 110,800 square kilometers. The island of Cuba is the largest island in Cuba and in the Caribbean, with an area of 105,006 square kilometers, and the second most populous after Hispaniola, with over 11 million inhabitants. There's 11 million people in Cuba, which is pretty large. The territory that is now Cuba was inhabited by the Saboni Taino people from the 4th millennium BC until Spanish colonization in the 15th century. The name Taino It's often used in a lot of Cuban cigars. I know Cuba has a Taino, and there are some other Cuban cigars that use the name for the people. Saboni Taino of Cuba. Taino is used very often after the people on a lot of Cuban cigars. So, for the 15th century, it was a colony of Spain until the Spanish-American War of 1898, when Cuba was occupied by the United States and gained nominal independence. As a de facto United States protectorate in 1902, as a fragile republic in 1940, Cuba was attempted to strengthen its democratic system, but mounting political radicalization and social strife culminated in a coup and subsequent dictatorship under Fulgencio Batista in 1952. Open corruption and oppression under Batista's rule led to his ousting in January 1959 by the 26th of July movement, which afterwards established communist rule under the leadership of Fidel Castro. We all know Fidel Castro, so. Since 1965, the state has been governed by the Communist Party of Cuba. The country was a point of contention during the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States, and a nuclear war nearly broke out during the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. We all know that. Cuba is one of the few Marxist, Leninist, socialist states where the role of the vanguard Communist Party is enshrined in the Constitution. Independent observers have accused the Cuban government of numerous human rights abuses, including arbitrary imprisonment. Yeah, they're terrible with human rights in Cuba, man. Like North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Russia. Culturally, Cuba is considered part of Latin America. It is a multi-ethnic country whose people, culture, and customs derive from diverse origins, including the Aboriginal Taino and Saboni peoples, and a long period of Spanish colonization. The introduction of African slaves and a close relationship with the Soviet Union in the Cold War. Alright, so that's a little bit of history on Cuba. Cuba has a very interesting history. It was colonized by Spain in around the 15th century. Christopher Columbus visited there in 1492. He has ties to tobacco in Cuba and cigars. They have a wonderful, rich history. They're multi-ethnic. The one troubling part is the communist government in Cuba, and also human rights violations in Cuba. It's a poor country. It's a third world country. I'm pretty sure it's a third world country. So they have their challenges in Cuba, but it's a wonderful cultural country with a really rich and strong kind of like what is it? Tourist as a tourist destination. They have a very strong tourism economy there. That's without United States participation, because United States it really restricts visiting of American citizens to Cuba. But I hope you enjoyed that little recitation on Cuba, the Republic of Cuba, and its history, and its history, and its government, and the indigenous people of Cuba, and just its history. This cigar is smoking great. Just a wonderful, elegant cigar full of rich, strong flavors. which is not easy to pull off when you have like rich, strong flavors and still end up being elegant. Very beautiful. Lemon through the retro ale. I don't think this cigar likes to be rushed. It starts losing its characteristics when you rush it. So raisin and power, tobacco, pepper and spice. Very good. All right, I'm gonna head into the next break. We're still into the first third of this Padron 1926. Gonna smoke this down into the second third. And gonna go ahead in the next portion. We'll do the second part on the Cuban tobacco, history of Cuban tobacco, and drink some more Newcastle. All right, so we're heading to the next break. In the interim, I will, when we get to the next portion, I'll give you some tasting notes that I was smoking between breaks. And all right, all I have to say is I hope everyone's well out there. Please take care. Today is Thursday, April 4th, 2019 in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm Ray Talabas II. This is a special occasion, special edition, special occasion cigar, special edition review of the Padron 1926 Maduro Robusto with a little bit of a focus on the history of Cuba and Cuban tobacco. Alright, y'all take care out there. Vaya con Dios, amigos. Catch you on the flip side. Okay, welcome back. Ni hao ma. That's Chinese for how are you doing. Xie xie is Chinese for thank you. Some few things I've learned along the way in my lifetime. So here we are into the second third of the special occasion Padron 1926 Maduro Robusto. This is also a special edition because we're doing a bit of a history on Cuba and Cuban tobacco. Special occasion. This is definitely a special occasion cigar. One of the best cigars in the world. The Padron 1926. I mean, when cigar smokers talk about special occasion cigars, you know, we talk about Padron 1926, Padron 1964, Padron Family Reserve, Opus, Don Carlos. Whether you talk about Davidoff, any Davidoff is a special occasion cigar. You know, you want to talk about La Flor Dominicana, Tempest. I mean, not Tempest. La Flor Dominicana, Andalusian Bull, LG, or Coronado. You want to talk about, let's see, whether you talk about Alec Bradley Tempest or Prensado, and then you want to talk about Joy de Nicaragua, Antonio Reservas, Joy de Nicaragua, Joy de Nicaragua Cuatro Cincos. My father has a whole bunch of them, whether you talk about the LEs, or Florida Las Antillas, and again, Padron is there. And then when you want, I mean, this is the Cuban review, so you want to talk about, you know, Cohiba Bejique, Cohiba Robustos, the limited edition ones, and the edition regional versions of those cigars, Monte Cristo number 2s, Monte Cristo number 4s, Bolivars, Partagas, Romeo and Julietas, Cuban Romeo and Julietas. I mean, I love Dominican Romeo and Julietas also. Bolivars, there's a lot of special occasion cigars. You know, we're talking about super premium cigars here. Something that you want to save for that special day, whether it be an anniversary, a wedding, a special birthday, special occasion cigars. This Padron 1926 definitely fits into the category of a special occasion cigar. I know when the Patriots won, I think a couple of Super Bowls, they were giving out Padron 1964. So, that's how it is. I want to say during the break, the draw has been always full. Got a great burn line. I haven't had to touch it up once. Pretty much razor sharp. The burn line is pretty much razor. I haven't had to touch it up once. So construction is A+. Draw. Body is full. Draw is full. Strength is full. Well, actually, the strength is medium full, and flavor is full. So just an A+ cigar. Wouldn't expect anything less from a Padron 1926. I have the deepest respect for the anniversary series along with the Family Reserve and the 50th anniversary Padron. I haven't smoked the 50th anniversary, but if it's better than the 1926 and the Family Reserve, I would imagine it's an awesome cigar. So over the break, I was getting sweet, spicy nuttiness, and I'm getting a lot of good nuttiness right now. Lemon through the retrohale. Ooh, charcoal, pencil lead, rich tobacco flavor, power. This cigar has it all and still maintains elegance. So it's a magical creature. It's a wonderful. So you can tell we're into the middle portion of the second third. Wow, this pencil lead. I'm gonna go ahead and do the second part of my history of Cuba and Cuban tobacco. So here it goes. This is the history of tobacco in Cuba. When Christopher Columbus reached Cuba in 1492, he discovered the locals drinking smoke from an early version of a cigar. Apparently, the natives had been smoking for centuries, sometimes rolling green leaves from the plant they called cohiba. I mean, that's where the name cohiba cigars comes from, and wrapping them in palm leaves or maize before dipping them in seawater. The question of whether Christopher Columbus's discovery of the New World or of the cigar was more significant is left to the connoisseur. While the Spanish, the Portuguese, and the Dutch all claim to have brought the habit to the Old World by 1515, the Spanish definitely had a thriving business exporting tobacco from Cuba to Europe, and there were some earning more money from the bright leaf than they ever would from gold. The first cigar factories appeared in 1676 in Spain, and by 1731, the Royal Cigar Factories had been established there. The Italian parts in Venice and Genoa became key spots for shipping cigars to Central Europe and Russia. Tobacco escalated in value. Man, I love this cigar. In 1560, the French ambassador to Portugal sent tobacco plants to Catherine de' Medici, the Queen of France. Nico gave his name to the botanical name for tobacco, Nicotiana tabacum, and to nicotine, an addictive chemical found in tobacco. Spain's manufacturing cartel was quickly challenged by the mid-18th century. Louis XV had pushed the French industry into cigar manufacturing in 1779. A German was granted a 5-year concession by the papal government in Rome to manufacture bastani di tobacco sticks or cigars, and by 1800, the Italian and German industries were manufacturing cigars. During the period, the leaf grown in Cuba was being shipped to Spain to be made into cigars. When it was acknowledged that Havana cigars survived the transatlantic voyage much better than the leaf itself, The fabricas, or cigar factories, were born in Cuba. The first names to be registered in Havana's trademark office, entered in 1810, were forerunners of a flourishing industry. An entry for a permit issued for the establishment of one factory and shop reads Francisco Cabanas, born in Havana, single has opened a shop in Jesus del Monte Avenue, which previously operated at 112 Jesus Maria Street. The first names to be registered in Havana's trademark office, entered in 1810, were forerunners to a flourishing industry. The subsequent boom in cigar sales filled the port of Old Havana with ships bound to distribute Cuban cigars the world over. The steamship ensured rapid distribution of Cuba's superior brands. In 1860, Partagas was the first factory that employed readers to continue the workers' education. A reader read over a tannoy loudspeaker system from the newspaper in the morning and from a novel in the afternoon. So began the golden age of Havana. Between 1830 and 1850, the great brands, many of which survive today, were founded. In 1850, the Dutchman Gustave Bach introduced paper bands into the design of cigars as a means of distinguishing prestigious brands. Heads of states, kings and monarchs, presidents and dictators all wanted a custom designed band or brand. The rush for cigars established the reputation of the Cuban cigar as a symbol of wealth, power, and prestige. English Prime Minister Winston Churchill is said to have smoked nearly 250,000 cigars over his lifetime. Today, Pinar del Rio, the Vinales Valley, and western Cuba in general are the centers of growing tobacco. Tobacco growing is the lifeblood of the region, and farmers still use the old-fashioned farming methods to grow tobacco in the valley. 200 years after the introduction, tobacco remains the main crop in the Vinales Valley, with a production of approximately 66,000 tons yearly. That's a lot of tobacco. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a list of the cigar brands, the Cuban cigar brands. I mean, we start with Cohiba. Cohiba is known to be kind of like the middle, kind of like in the flavor spectrum of cigars, very rich, but not quite dark. Then you have Partagas. Partagas is generally a heavier body smoke. Romeo y Julieta is, I would say, is more closely aligned with Cohiba. Monte Cristo is a bit milder than all those things. Then you have Bolivar, which is a fuller, stronger, probably the strongest Cuban. Hoyo de Monterrey. Hoyo de Monterrey is on the medium to lighter part of the spectrum of tobacco. Vegas Urbina. And there's a few others out there. But Cuban cigars in general, I mean, the consensus is Cuban cigars around the world are the best cigars in the world. That's the consensus. I don't know. I don't know if that's changing. Personally, I prefer. I mean, we only get non-Cubans here anyway, and I'm very happy with the non-Cubans that I'm smoking. But I'm not going to step on the feet of Cubans. People who enjoy Cubans, just smoke what you have. I mean, in America, we don't have Cubans. I'm very happy with non-Cubans, especially this Padron 1926. It doesn't get much better than this as far as I'm concerned. Just a wonderful smoke. I've got to take a break because we're going into the final third, and the bands are gonna ignite if I don't take the band off. So just an A+ smoke right now, 5-star as it is for the Padron 1926. I'm gonna head into the last break. Drink some Johnny Walker Black Label, and away. I hope you guys enjoyed the history of Cuba and Cuban cigars. I wish you enjoy the spring season. The temperate weather is here. Um, anyway, you all take care out there. I'm gonna head into my last break, so take care. Hasta luego. Vaya con mis amigos. Okay, ni hao ma, ni hao ma. ¿Cómo estás? How are y'all doing out there? I'm back into the final portion of the special occasion cigar review for the Padron 1926 Maduro Robusto with a special edition of Cuba and Cuban tobacco history. During the break, I was smoking the Padron and getting a lot of sweet nuttiness and also leather. Very full draw. Just a great burn line. So construction is pretty much A plus. Smoking components for this cigar. Body is full, flavor is full, strength is full. Just a wonderful, elegant cigar. If I was to describe this cigar in 3 words, it would be elegant, beautiful tobacco. I mean, that's what it is. It's elegant, beautiful tobacco. All those things, just wonderful. Lemon through the retrohale. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get into the Johnny Walker Black Label. Single malt Scotch from England. Not single malt. It's a blended whiskey from England. I mean, not from England, from Scotland. It's a blended Scotch. One of my favorite Johnny Walker Black Label. Speaking of Winston Churchill, one of Winston Churchill's favorite scotches, Johnny Walker Black Label. As you all know, Winston Churchill was famously in love with cigars and scotch, and champagne for that matter. Here it is, Johnny Walker Black Label. Very smooth. Some peat. Some caramel. It's very smooth. Very delicious. The caramel notes on this Johnny Walker Black Label aren't as round as, say, a lot of American whiskeys and maybe even Canadian whiskey. So, very delicious. Like I said, if I was to describe this cigar in 3 words, the Padron 1926, elegant, beautiful tobacco. Just wonderful. Just a wonderful smoke that was very nutty. Lemon. Just wonderful. Caramel too. There's a caramel note in this too. I would say right now it's caramelly, nutty, sweet nuttiness, and caramel, and leather. So we're into the final third. Just enjoying this cigar. Getting pepper and pencilette and power now. Nuttiness. That's a wonderful cigar. The Padron 1926. Just wonderful. Pencilette, charcoal, tobacco, spice. Spice is hitting now. Just wonderful. Nuttiness. So let me summarize this review. I hope you guys enjoyed my history of Cuba and Cuban tobacco. Um, they have a rich history, um, multi-ethnic. Politically, it's not that great. They're a third world country, but they have a rich history. Um, it's a great country. Anyway, for the Padron 1926 Maduro Robusto, my recommendation, 5 out of 5 stars. Easily one of the best cigars in the world. Cuban or non-Cuban for that matter. So that's my recommendation. A wonderful, wonderful cigar. Please pick up a stick if you can. I got this for around $16, which is great for 1926. Padron 1926. Anyway, that's my recommendation. Padron 1926 Robusto Maduro. 5 out of 5 stars. Um, please take care out there. Enjoy the spring. It's beautiful outside. I hope you guys enjoyed the spring season. Alright, let me end this review the way I usually end my reviews. I wish you all out there in the world only the best. Good health, good wealth, good fortune, the best of friends, and most importantly, family. You all take care out there. Bye, con días, amigos. Ciao.